Good day, everyone. My name is Oleksii Bondar. I represent Kryvyi Rih Pedagogical University, Department of Social and Mass Communications in Ukraine. Today, I want to present our research work with my research supervisor, Professor Alla Lobanova, Sustainable Consumption in Times of War, Needs, Values, and Possibilities. Firstly, I'm honored to present you our humble work in the contemporary world where this topic is getting more and more significant. However, it's precisely during such challenging times that the need for sustainable practices becomes even more crucial. And war brings a myriad of disruptions, not only to the social and political fabric of societies, but also to the environment and resources upon which we depend. In times of conflict, the imperative to prioritize immediate needs often overshadows consideration of long-term sustainability. Let me explain briefly and quickly the relevance of our work. The large-scale invasion of Russian Federation forces into the territory of Ukraine, which commenced on 21st February 2022, has halted the realization of the sustainable development concept in the country, and it has significantly altered the structure and nature of both industrial and household consumption across virtually all sectors of the economy and social groups. And the war has nearly decimated 1/3 of Ukraine's economy and radically transformed its economic and geopolitical issues. Sustainable consumption is conventionally regarded as an approach to resource utilization aimed at meeting the needs of contemporary society, wherein the long-term resilience is maximized while minimizing adverse impacts on the environment, economy, and society. Its fundamental concept lies in the ensuring present needs without depriving future generations of resources and opportunities to satisfy their own needs. The issue of sustainable consumption is the subject of research by both foreign and Ukrainian researchers. I can quickly explain who from the researchers and scientists influenced on our work. Tim Jackson, with his book Prosperity Without Growth: Foundation for Economy of Tomorrow, a renowned economist specializing in sustainable development. Hyder, Shannon, Mostis, the scientific paper titled Exploring Sustainable Consumption and the Role of Marketing. So we can mention some Ukrainian researchers, Pachkovsky and Maximenko, ecological consumption involving the rejection of aggressive chemicals in household management, waste, recycling, and preference for environmentally friendly products. Researchers Kwokap and Mohammed identified 27 proposed definitions of sustainable consumption between 1997 and 2020, while Dolan referred to various perspectives on sustainable consumption, highlighting the absence of a universally accepted standard definition. According to international environmentalists, sustainable consumption should ensure the satisfaction of basic needs and better quality of life for current and future generations. Achieving sustainable consumption requires a pursuit of building pro-social and pro-environmental systems. This can be conceptualized through the most agreeable characteristics and aspects. Firstly, satisfaction of basic human needs. Secondly, priority of life quality over material standards. Thirdly, economizing consumption. And last but not least, concern for future generations through responsible, efficient, and considerate consumption. Moreover, we believe that it's important to include social and environmental safety for consuming choices. And of course, minimization of waste and pollution. And we can mention also an important aspect of reflection on our previous and future actions in choosing different goods. We assert that the principle of sustainable consumption, traditionally characterized by the triad reuse, reduce, and recycle, is crucial and constitutes an integral part of the strategy for sustainable development and effective resource management. The fundamental idea, this principle, is to mitigate the environmental impact of consumption and preserve resources for future generations. And now let's explain the principle of rethinking, how it can serve as a complement to other principles, reminding us the need for constant analysis and improvement of our consumption habits and production approaches. The full-scale invasion of Russian forces into Ukrainian territory, accompanied by active combat operations in the temporarily occupied territories, has dramatically transformed the nature of both production and domestic consumption, as well as the consumer behavior of the population at large and specific social groups. This transformation stems from the economic downturn, rising inflation, and the devaluation of the national currency in the early months of the war, resulting in a sharp reduction in the incomes of the population and increase in prices for goods and services. Consequently, the majority of Ukrainians began economizing their savings, purchasing fewer goods of various kinds, and seeking for more affordable products. Here on the slide you can see some statistics from the Gradus research studies in 2023, which shows that the changes in consumers' buying habits. For example, it includes buying actually different things for household goods, going to the restaurant, and other items that people can buy. Looking at this slide, distribution of responses to the question, how do you assess the change in the indicators during 2022 compared to the period before February 24, 2022? We see the percentage of Ukrainians specified, so the frequency of purchases has increased offline by 11% and online 14%. And the frequency of purchases has decreased by 50%, it's half, and 46%, almost half. The amount of expenses has increased by 24%, and online almost the same, 25%. And the amount of expenses has decreased by 47% and 46% respectively. So we see that actually the assets which people actually buy changed, and in some way even dramatically. As for categories of goods on which Ukrainians were saving, we can see different goods that Ukrainians were saving on. Definitely medical products, 47%, children goods, tactical gear, it's can be double purpose goods, food products, electronics and household appliances. For sure, the highest in rating is leisure and entertainment outside, alcoholic beverages and cosmetic products. And somewhere actually just a little bit lower, but again quite important, is purchasing prepared food, clothing and footwear, household goods and chemicals. We make a conclusion that 50%, almost 47% of Ukrainians were saving on very important things such as medicine, goods for kids, and tactical gear. The impact of full-scale invasion on Ukrainians' shopping activity. You can see here two colors, yellow and green. Yellow means it reduced, and green shows that it increased. And you see that dining out at restaurants and cafes reduced by 80%. Cooking at home reversibly actually increased, and we see that increased more than 50%. Visiting movie theaters and concerts reduced seriously, more than 80%. Meeting with friends and family also has some changes. It's actually about reduction, and the same reduction we see in visiting public places outdoors and using public transport. Using taxis, we see that before it was actually not so obvious, but now we see it was reduced too. And watching TV and streaming channels almost didn't change and stays at 30%. In the context of Russian-Ukrainian war, consumption in both the production and household spheres has undergone significant changes. As you see, we have shifts in the population's needs, with decreased demand for branded products, entertainment services, cosmetics and perfumes, alcoholic beverages, visiting to restaurants, bars, cafes and entertainment venues, and a sort of respondents reducing expenditures on food products. The financial capabilities of the population to provide for themselves and their families with certain goods significantly decreased, as a significant portion of Ukrainians began financially supporting the armed forces of Ukraine. Re-evaluation of the value of goods with a focus on the ability to preserve health, especially for children, and protection from danger such as shelters. Formation of new consumption values at the individual level, such as environmental consciousness, responsibility for personal choices, minimalism, and an orientation towards the prolonged use of goods. Some changes in the understanding of the value of goods and the prioritization of rational and responsible choices. The affirmation changes in consumption, needs, values, and opportunities during the wartime period in Ukraine. It led to the conclusion that consumer practices, both involuntary and consciously, are acquiring a crucial characteristic: sustainability. Thank you for your attention.